And we're back at ITC 2019. And who am I speaking with?
You're speaking with David Daiches. I'm the co-founder and COO of INSHUR.
I'm surprised no one has come up with that name, the spelling. So just so everyone can see, why don't you show your logo? It's INSHUR.
INSHUR.
Which is perfect for an InsureTech, except with a little bit different spelling. So kudos on the branding.
Yeah.
And what does INSHUR do?
So we're a digital MGA, and we provide insurance for commercial auto insurance for rideshare drivers. We're currently live in New York and in the UK.
Okay. Well, I detected an accent, so I was actually going to ask if you were London-based. So give us a little background on INSHUR. Where you're a co-founder, where did the idea come from? How did it mature to where you are today?
Sure. So Dan, my co-founder, he found me. So I was working in the UK with some other guys on a software platform, and he had the idea for INSHUR, and he was looking for some open source software that he could build a concept on. So he found us via Google. We spoke long distance for a while, actually doing a separate project. And then he said, look, I've got this idea for INSHUR. Can we do it? I said, yeah, it sounds right up our street. So literally he flew over a couple of days later. We sat down in a room for a day in London. We mapped it all out. And 3 months later, we had a pilot live in New York City.
Serendipity.
And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Can you briefly discuss some of the challenges of rideshare?
Mm-hmm.
That's different than a traditional insurance product.
Yeah, I think so. We're very much focused on the professional drivers, so we're not looking for the gig economy guys who are maybe driving a couple of days a week. So we're looking at professional drivers. That's what we're aimed at.
What would you consider a professional driver?
So someone who does it,
it's their livelihood.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Okay.
They're not a gym teacher who does a bit of Uber at the weekend. So that's why we focus on the New York market, because it's quite heavily regulated, and all of the drivers there need the commercial auto insurance. So the challenges of that market, it was difficult for the drivers to get insured because it involved going to a physical location, filling out all the forms, and then multiple visits back. So our USP really was it was all in an app. They could just scan a barcode on the back of their professional license, and we could do all the underwriting from pulling the data in from that. So it went from a sort of 2-week process to a 3-minute process.
Okay. So where do you stand today? I believe you got some news to share?
Yeah, we're really excited. So in the UK, we've just launched our Flex product. And this came on the back of some research we did with our drivers. A lot of them were saying, traditionally we were selling an annual policy or a 30-day policy. And they were asking for some more flexibility, sort of anything up to 90 days. So what we delivered yesterday is a product where they can choose any duration between 7 and 90 days to really give the control to the driver so they can get the insurance for the period they need rather than having to buy a policy and cancel it. The other advantage we have is they can earn, I'm going to use a UK term, no claims discount, which is a big thing in the UK. So if you drive without a claim for a year, you get a discount off of subsequent years' policies. And always one of the criticisms of short-term policies in the UK was you couldn't earn, even if you took 12 monthly policies in a year, you wouldn't earn any no claims discount. With our product, as long as you have no less than 30 days breaking coverage in the year, if you do a year's worth of, even if it's short-term policies, you'll get no claims discount.
Yeah. So why are the policies so short-term?
A lot of it's to do with cash flow. So we spoke to our drivers, and only about 20% can afford to pay for an annual policy. So they like the flexibility of based on their cash flow to buy a weekly policy if they have a bit more cash, maybe a 30-day policy. So really it was responding to the demand of the drivers that we speak to.
Oh, that's interesting. So if a driver decided to go on vacation for a couple of weeks, they could actually not pay for insurance and then pick it back up.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
As long as the vehicle wasn't being driven by anybody else or anything like that.
Curious what you think about autonomous vehicles and how that would ultimately affect not just traditional auto insurance, but your your style of ride sharing?
It's an interesting one, and you speak to 10 different people, you get 10 different opinions. I firmly believe autonomous vehicles are the future. In fact, I was talking to had dinner with a friend last night who'd driven up from LA in his Model X, and he hadn't touched the steering wheel more than 2 minutes the whole of the way. I think in the big cities, it's about, until you have 100% autonomous, 95%, it's getting to 100% that's going to be the challenge. And I think in big built-up areas, I know that is more challenging. So I think we're maybe sort of 15, 20 years away from seeing sort of mainstream sort of autonomous vehicles being used for in a rideshare context.
Yeah, I think we always underestimate how fast, in some ways, that we just automatically assume, oh, I don't have to touch the steering wheel. That's great, but there's a lot of ramifications. To that.
And I think on the insurance side, when you've got this hybrid of an autonomous vehicle that can stop a lot quicker than a human driving a standard vehicle, there's a whole sort of minefield around, the insurance, who picks up what, and so I think there's still quite a lot of social challenges to overcome before it becomes mainstream, but I'm all for it.
Okay, well, thank you for popping in. As a parting gift, you now are officially an insurance nerd, so wear it proudly, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick.
Appreciate it.
Great to talk to you.
Okay.